everyone, it's Autumn. Today I want to do a video where I try out Rare Beauty. So I've purchased several of the products. I'll kind of show you here. They're kind of like in a weird mishmash in here. I purchased the foundation and the concealer, and then they had some kits online. So I purchased a kit that was Selena's Favorites kit, and it had a blush, a highlight, a mascara, and a lip color. And then I also picked up a blush trio. And then earlier in the year, I actually got like some gift with purchase items here, and I also have the blush in the shade Bliss and this lip product in the shade Thankful. So I think I have a good amount of products here to accomplish a full face, and we're just gonna jump into it. All right, so I've already prepped my skin with moisturizer. I'm not gonna use like any special primers or illuminating bases today because I do just wanna see what the foundation looks like by itself on the skin. I ordered mine online based off of what I could tell would be the best match for me, and I ended up getting the shade 170W. Pull it out here, it's got a doe foot, and I'm just gonna pop this all over. It does seem to be a little bit yellow for me. So for reference, it's hard to tell because I'm sitting in front of a green wall. So I look a little less green, but I am a light olive, which it's pretty hard to find foundation to match me because of that, because things are, if it's neutral, it leans orange. If it's cool, it leans pink. And if it's warm, it will lean yellow. So usually companies don't make a foundation that is green enough for me. If something is way too yellow, I do have a blue corrector that I add to it, like a drop into it, you know, to kind of mix yellow and blue and kind of give it like a green cast. I do have a little bit of redness under the skin, so if it's just got a little bit of yellow in it, it actually helps to kind of counteract that redness. But I can see in the monitor that like you can tell that the tone is a little bit off on this. But that's fairly common for me because I feel like the tone most of the time, unless the company specifically made an olive color, it does just tend to lean a little bit off. So I am patting this into my skin. So I did use the brush, but if you use a brush, sometimes it will leave streaks in the skin. I don't think that one did. But I also then like to take my hands and just pat the product in so it looks a little bit more seamless. So let's go ahead and grab the concealer. I went ahead and just got the concealer in the same shade, and I didn't realize, because I'm looking at my face now and it looks a little bit light, not like too light compared to my arm, but I didn't realize that their concealer was lighter than the foundation. So we're gonna go ahead and pop some of that in there. It kind of puts a lot in there. So I'm gonna start off with my fingers and then just try to like pat it in. And normally I like to use a corrector for the blue. I didn't do today just because I'm trying this out. But especially if something is super bright and like too light on my skin like this, I like to go in with a corrector that's a little bit deeper to get rid of the blue. So my under eye isn't so stark. So I feel like this is just a little bit stark. And if you put on a super light concealer and you don't correct, your eye area can turn a little bit gray. So you can kind of see in this area where it has like a gray effect to it. I'm just gonna go over with that foundation brush again, and then it'll help to smooth it out and blend it and pick up any excess product. So I'm gonna jump off camera really quickly, and I'm gonna powder this and apply some bronzer and a little bit of eyeshadow because I don't have any of those products from Rare. Oh, and then also do my eyebrows, and I'll be right back. All right, so I'm done with all the products that are not from Rare Beauty, and I did go ahead and just fast forward and record through it to where if you were curious about what's on my face, you would know. So now we're just gonna jump into the blush, the highlights, the lip products, the cheeks, and all that good stuff. Well, blush and highlight, those are the cheek products. So you probably noticed that I just sprayed this on my face because I did use a couple of powder products, and I wanted to put a blush on over top. And usually if you have a good formula, you can wet that formula. It's like a wet dry sort of formula. So I usually just wet my face and then I can apply cream products over it, no problem. So I have 4 options for cheek color. I have Bliss, Hope, Peace, and Joy. I think I want to use, yeah, I'm gonna use Hope today, and we'll see what it looks like. So I've heard that this formula is super pigmented, and I'm just gonna, yep, just blend it right in with my foundation brush. And this is very pigmented. And now I'm gonna jump in with the highlighter, and I have the highlighter in the shade Mesmerized. And I'm gonna go a little bit lower because this highlighter is like a little bit, it looks like it would be a little bit deep for my skin. I'm gonna go in with the smaller brush for that. And I'm gonna kind of use it, it's gonna be a highlight, but also just like a cheek topper. And I'll bring it through the brow too. Oh, that's pretty. Look at that. Ooh. Huh. I really like this. So we're gonna do the same thing on this side. And then I wanna try out the mascara. So I'm gonna go ahead and curl my lashes. And I'm gonna open up, I'm gonna use a different mirror because I always do this every time I apply mascara on camera. I then lean down in this mirror and you literally can't see me apply the mascara at all. So I'm gonna use a handheld mirror here, and I'll go ahead and show you the brush here. Hold on. There we go. It just looks like your average sort of bristle brush. I'm gonna like swirl it around and get some product on it. Then let's go in and see how it does. All right, so that is one coat. And what I will say, this is one of those wispy sorts of formulas that you have to be careful of. Again, I haven't worn this to test it, but with the formulas that kind of feel like wispy and they dry really quickly, those tend to flake, at least on me. So we'll have to see. This makeup is for the gym, so I may do like a gym update. Let's go ahead and try a second coat to see how it builds. And yeah, it feels a little bit crunchy. A lot of the times these sorts of formulas do flake on me and they're not the best for building. But I don't think it looks bad. I just probably won't build it much further than this because I feel like it could get spidery. And I don't know if it's the formula or the brush itself, because this brush has a lot of bristles, so you don't get like the spiky lashes, but at the same time, since there are so many bristles, it's really hard for the product to build up on the lashes to give a lot of volume. I think it looks pretty good though. I'm gonna go ahead and put what's left on this brush onto the bottom lashes on both sides. So I only have 2 lip options and I'm going to the gym. So obviously I'm not gonna wear the red lip, but just in case we're curious about the formula, I have tried this red lip before, by the way. It's the red lip that I wore in my Instagram photos when I went to see the Van Gogh exhibit. But I will try it on here for you, then wipe it off and then put the other one on. Okay, so here is the red lip. I do want to point out that this formula is very comfortable. Yeah, okay, I just got some on my teeth. This formula is very comfortable and it's almost one of those that kind of like dries down. It's like a moussey sort of texture that kind of dries down to like a matte finish, but it's still moisturizing at the same time. And with that moisture, I noticed some movement. So, which I just put it on, but I've noticed this before. If I really like go down, it will go outside my lips. So I have to be careful. It does move a little bit. But I think if you kind of do like a blurred lip with this, it would be beautiful. It's super comfortable. It doesn't feel drying on the lips. It's really nice. So I'm gonna go ahead, wipe this off and put on the other option. All right, and then the other option is their Dewy Lip Balm in the shade Thankful. And this is like a sheer sort of plummy brown shade. Again, super comfortable. I just blotted it a little bit because again, I don't want it moving around on me. All right, so let's just talk about the products here. First off, the foundation, while it's not a perfect match for me, the finish is really nice, really comfortable, not drying at all. So I do like the foundation. Again, it's a little bit yellow. I bought it online. They may have an option that would suit me better. It was just really hard for me to tell. If you are getting the concealer, just know the concealer is probably a shade lighter than the foundation, even though they're marked as the same shade, in which a lot of people may really like that. But for me, I just like it all to be one color so that I can actually use the concealer on blemishes and stuff like that. So I'll swatch them side by side so you can see the color differences here. But yeah, so that is the foundation and that's the concealer. So the blush is super pigmented and it blends really well. I like it. I know that there are 2 blush formulas within her line, so I'm gonna go ahead and swatch all the shades I have so we can see the differences between them. All right, so the first shade I'm gonna swatch is the shade Hope. So there's Hope. Here's Bliss, and it seems to be a little more dewy and a little bit more sheer. Here's Joy, and it's probably the most pigmented out of all of them so far. And then here is Peace. So they're all pretty pigmented aside from Bliss. Bliss seems to be more sheer. And just so I can double check and make sure that it's not like an inconsistency, I have another Bliss that I got in the trio because one was like a sample. Let me see. Oh, I think that one was inconsistent because here's my other Bliss and it's not as watery. That's really interesting. Okay, good thing I checked that. So I'm not sure if I got like a weird sample. So the first one that was more, because I hadn't opened the other one, the more watery one was the one I originally got as a sample from Sephora. And then the second one was included in the blush trio kit that you can buy at Sephora. I also forgot to mention the texture of the concealer. I do want to talk about that really quickly. It's actually really nice. It's not drying. It doesn't like settle into lines. I would actually like to get one that's a better match for me because I think I might use it on a more regular basis. But this is actually a really nice sort of concealer that's not drying, but also like, I guess not too dewy. Like it doesn't stay super moist. I did powder though, FYI. And then the highlighter. I was not expecting to like this highlighter as much as I did. I was expecting it to be a little bit deep for my skin tone, which I think it is, but it sheers out really well. It's more of like a rose gold sort of shade. And then when it sheers, it's not really too deep at all, and it works beautifully as a highlight slash blush topper. So then the lip products. I really like the formulas of both. This to me is just like a colored lip balm, And I feel like there's tons of stuff like this on the market, so I wouldn't say that this is actually super exceptional. The lip product though, this is a beautiful shade of red. It's also super comfortable, and you can get like that blurred effect, so maybe you wouldn't have to try as hard to get it like to stay within the lines. You could always just go well within the lines and then just kind of blot it outward, and I think it would work beautifully. And then there's the lip color swatched. The mascara isn't my favorite, but also it's not awful. My lashes do feel like a little bit like dry and crispy, and so I'm afraid that like when I start exercising and doing stuff like that, it's gonna flake, but I don't really know about that yet. But maybe I'll insert something here for post-gym and we can see what it looks like. Anyway, those are all the products that I got to try out from Rare Beauty. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you would like to see more content like this, please go ahead and subscribe, and I will talk to you all soon. Bye.